So without much ado, and here we are, a very interesting topic, which I promised in the last week that I would cover indoor plants. Okay. And, you know, it's a joy to have, indoor plants, but a lot of people think, oh, it's so hard to maintain. It's difficult. So stay tuned and we'll talk about what's so great about indoor plants. Now, we can improve our environment indoors by just adding a few plants. Okay. Now, not only these plants, actually, we know that plants, they give out oxygen in the day when they process the carbon dioxide, but they also can enrich the aroma or the smell of your place, your house, or wherever. It might be even an office, anything indoor. You can actually take away a lot of stale or stuffy kind of smells that are there. Plants actually do help that. But more so, plants also help release serotonin in the brain. Now, when that happens, you automatically are in an upper mood, you're in a more happier mood. Okay. So, the slight hints, the green smell, the amount of air that has got purified actually gives yourself a sense of good well-being. So not only that, the plants by themselves, they live in soil, they enrich the soil, and it breeds good microbes. So your microbiome in your house starts to improve. And what happens when you have that? You start to get good gut health. And when you have good gut health, what happens? Oh, a lot of things happen, right? You are able to process much more toxins that enter the body. You're able to cut certain toxins that might get into the body. You start to get better immunity. So it's something that we can't neglect. And having just these few potted plants around indirectly helps you improve that. So not everything can only come because you ate something, but also because these will start to get released into the air. And, you will touch the plant and things like that. So it automatically gets into your system. Now, let's talk about a few plants, okay, which are kind of common. The spider plant, and you can see this little, picture out there. I think you would have seen this plant quite often, okay. Now, as we know, we live in this great chemical paradise of life, okay, and a lot of them are all petrochemical-based hydrocarbons that have been processed, and it's the age of the polymers. And formaldehyde is something that is common in most synthetic plastics and synthetic things that you get. And they actually linger in the air. Okay, they come out, they get released. You put, a plastic bag in the sunlight, some of that just starts to get into, gets into your household. It's not just that. You get packaging materials, you get so many things that come in and out of your house. Even the containers that you get, maybe your perfumes, and sometimes even some of the raw ingredients that you get are made out of these things. And they say that the spider plant can remove almost 100, very close to 95% of this. When they experimented, they put it in a kind of a plexiglass container, and in 24 hours, 95% of that the plant had absorbed. And now something great about a spider plant is that it really doesn't require so much of maintenance. You don't keep watering it and looking up, running up. So it's a kind of an easy plant to have at home. So do look it up somewhere. You'll definitely find it. Maybe a friend of yours or a neighbor has one of these. Get a hold of it. Just keep it in a nice corner. It requires not too much of light, just enough indirect light and very little water. Now, another plant that you would have seen, and it's it's got a white big petal with a nice stamen in the middle. Looks like a fan, and that's what we call the peace lily. Okay, because it looks like the white flag that people fly. Okay, so they remove, of course, a lot of carbon dioxide. They have a lot of ability to convert carbon dioxide, and they remove a lot of these volatile organic compounds. Okay, plenty of them. when I say volatile, is they can start to get atomized and get into your breathing, into your air. Okay. And that's what they call volatile organic compounds. So they can vary. They can be things that come from detergent, from floor cleaners, from a lot of things. Maybe it just come from the outside, which is, cars are going and vehicles are going flying past your house, and that somehow will find its way indoor. So you're going to have a lot of these uh, volatile organic compounds. So this helps reduce that. And of course, these peace lilies don't require a lot of sunlight. So they make very good companions in your bookshelves, or maybe in a showcase, and where you just want to, where there's not enough light. Sometimes a lot of our own bathrooms do not have a lot of light in some areas. It's a good thing to keep them out there, and wherever you think. So they'll grow a lot, and they're very, very good. I'd suggest that you keep one of these plants definitely in your bathroom. Okay, because as you know, your bathroom is probably really, really toxic, and this is something that you can quietly slip in there, and I think it'll be a good thing. You'll thank me for it. A very common one is the rubber plant. Okay, and these plants are extremely robust, and they're very easy to grow. And when they grow, we just have to cut off a piece of it and then plant it again. It'll grow again, and they really grow. They're very rapid. They're very strong, and really, it's not easy to kill these guys. And when they become trees, I mean, plants become trees, and once they become trees, oh, they're not easy to destroy. You can cut their branches off; they'll still start growing again. So very resilient plant, and it helps purify the air. They live indoor and they can be put outdoor. You can put them probably just about anywhere else. Of course, they do need some sunlight. The more sunlight they get and the more water they get greener. But they're resilient. You don't really need to keep forcing water down them. But they are tolerant to excess water as well. They won't die. A lot of plants die when you put too much of water. And most indoor plants, you should not overwater, because they will actually kill the roots, because the water will start to, the roots will start to kind of rot. They'll start to degrade. So this is a plant where actually it can tolerate even that, murky, swampy water, and it'll still grow. Okay. Uh, these are also common. They're called elephant ear plants. The leaves actually help with your insect bites. So if you rub a little bit of the leaf on your and the stem on your hand, you can help like mosquito bites, and in case they're really, really stinging. Okay, but they're a little more difficult to manage. They need a lot more sunlight than the other indoor plants, and definitely when they're exposed to sunlight, the evaporation of water, and because the leaves are rather bigger, you need a lot more water. It will demand a lot more water. And what happens is, if you don't, then the leaves start to droop immediately, and okay, it's time to. So this is something that you have to take care of every day. It's a slight luxury if you don't have the time, but they have some properties that might be good for you. So in case you kind of got a very bad reaction to mosquito bites, something you might want to keep around just to relieve yourself here and there. Okay. Snake plants, okay, they grow kind of long and straight, and they kind of just, the leaves kind of just, there's no kind of stem or anything. These leaves just come out by themselves directly, right? It's kind of, they call it the mother-in-law's tongue, okay, because the leaves are very long. Okay, that's the nickname for it. Okay, they don't need. They remove toxins from the air quite a bit over time. You have to keep them for long periods, and they don't need much attention. They're okay. They kind of grow by themselves. Just give that regular dose of water every other week. Every week rather. They should kind of grow nicely, and they also give a rather soothing effect. That they're easy to maintain because they don't shed any leaves. So they won't mess your place around too much. So it's kind of good for you. You don't have to worry about things dropping off, stuff like that. Ferns, of course, yeah, they can dry and they can mess up your place a little bit. And they're better if the leaves are allowed to hang out, kind of fall out from the pot. It becomes kind of a good thing. So hang on a second. Okay. Um, okay, I am there online. I just wanted to see if my face is still around. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So they remove these ferns are very useful for removing again the VOCs, the volatile organic compounds. So that's kind of was interesting as well. But of course, it's a little hard to maintain, and usually there should be some space for the leaves to fall over the pot. Otherwise, they don't really grow well. Okay. Oops, sorry, I think I put the wrong photo here, but the money plant. Okay, I mean they call it the pothos. Oh, sorry about the graphic there. I think I messed up. Sorry about that. The money plants are like kind of a heart-shaped kind of leaf, and they're kind of green and yellowish at times. They usually kept and they indicate the sign of prosperity. So the more prosperous you are, the faster and the more healthier these plants grow. I mean, that's the folklore. But one thing which is really, really good about this is that it reduces the ozone. Now, everyone says, oh, ozone. Oh, it's so important. And the ozone layer is getting depleted. And, everyone says, so what's wrong about ozone? Okay. Ozone is great for blocking UV and the dangerous radiation that may come and hit us on Earth. But ozone is as dangerous as carbon monoxide. Because if you breathe, ozone, it forms an irreversible compound when you're breathing. Okay. Your hemoglobin will not turn back. It'll just become inert. And you can actually die of ozone poisoning. And ozone is known to deteriorate things like anything that has rubber. The rubber will start to get weaker and it'll start to break. And a lot of it is because of ozone. So you'd be wondering, okay, so what? I mean, where does this ozone come? It's not just coming from anywhere. Well, whenever you run a very high voltage electricity, transformers, things that convert power, whenever there is silent electric discharge, ozone is created. And a lot of them will come from laser printers, they'll come from your microwave oven, they'll come from any high voltage appliance. It will generate a certain amount of ozone. So ozone is definitely going to be present in your house. And the money plants are one of the most excellent things to kind of block off ozone in your own house. So if you do have a lot of high voltage equipment, I suggest you get a couple of money plants and plant. And sorry to be use the pun, but plant them around. Okay, ivy plant. Okay, is a plant that's not very easy to grow. It's if there's too much water in the soil, then it doesn't grow, and if there's too little water, also it doesn't grow. But once it kicks in and it starts to grow, it's a lot easier to maintain. And they love to be dropped. So it's something where you could put probably on your balcony or probably on the top of a shelf where it falls down. And again, it helps with reducing carbon dioxide and of course a little bit of the volatile organic compounds that I talked about. They also can absorb them. And the good thing is that when these plants start to absorb them, they start to break them down, and they become harmless agents, and so that way it's protecting it. Now, aloe vera, of course, is quite a well-known indoor plant. It's actually a cacti, okay? And you can see that the stems are very thick and the leaves have become tendrils, so they become tiny like thorns. So aloe vera is a cacti, okay? But the pulp inside these stems are really good for the skin. They're great for burns. They're great for, nurturing your complexion. Some people even have them as a juice as well because they have medicinal properties. They can help with, the problems that you might have with your stomach, maybe acidity, and maybe you've got some kind of an infection and you want to get rid of it. So a lot of aloe vera juice is used. But also very strikingly, it also helps you grow hair. So a lot of aloe vera, if you rub it on your scalp, it helps nourish the scalp. And, probably, of course, everyone does struggle to, if people are losing hair, it's not an easy thing. And so it does help the, nourishment of the scalp, and it helps to grow hair follicles. So aloe vera is something that you can keep around. and they're quite hardy plants because being a cacti, it doesn't really need that much water. Okay, it will, it's quite resilient. Okay, sorry, I think I didn't put okay, herbs anyway. Sorry about the picture there. I think I didn't get that right. So chamomile, lavender, basil, mint. Now, a lot of these herbs, and I'm sure I don't need to show you pictures of it, but they really help improve your mood. Okay, and the smells of these have known to relax, reduce a lot of inflammation that can happen in the body. Cortisol, it reduces the amount of cortisol your body will release. So it's something good to have a lot of these. Grow them. I mean, not just buy them from the shop, try to grow them. They're a little more delicate, and the water balance is something you've got to master. And I wouldn't advise that you put all the herbs in one pot. You've got to use separate small pots, because each one will have a different kind of a volume of water that they require. Indian basil is there. There's regular basil. There are many kinds of, all of them are great. The Indian basil, which they call the basli, or they have a lot of names for it, grows very easily, and it's quite resilient, and it can take a lot. I mean, it can take a lot of water, because many plants that we know, if you overwater them, they die. But the Indian basil is something that thrives on a lot of water and very wet climate. It works. So something that you can, just keep throwing water at, and don't even think about it. However, the other herbs, yeah, of course, you've got to be a little more careful. So they contain, now, I'm not just saying that you grow it and the aromas are good, but you can consume these things in your food, and they contain minerals, they have antioxidants, and they also, some of them have vitamins. And you've also got things like phytonutrients, trace elements. There would be selenium, it might be a whole of the manganese, magnesium, cobalt, iron, whatever. These things the body needs in trace amounts, and they're available. So not only does it give great aroma in your house, it's also something that you put in your food. You can throw it on top of your salads. Fantastic. So if the next time you're going to look at house improvement, before you buy that lovely little couch, or that brand new cupboard, or that little kind of fancy little showcase out there, don't forget you get your indoor plants. Okay. So I hope that you found this session interesting, and don't forget to ask for more whenever you can. And I'm opening the floor for any question and answer.